But we start with Air Force. The Falcons lead the nation in rushing, averaging 341 yards a game. They're holding opponents to less than 100 yards on the ground. They're number 2 in time of possession, only about 2 minutes behind Army, and they've got 2 players in the top 6, one in rushing and the other with quarterback sacks, all of which added up to an Air Force 24-14 win over previously unbeaten Wyoming, raising the Falcons' record to 5-1, and Air Force's dominance was clear from the start of that game. From the opening kickoff, the Falcons kept the ball on the ground, using more than 8 minutes and going 75 yards for a score on their first possession, capped off by a 1-yard Brad Roberts TD run. Roberts would carry 10 times in that 15-play drive alone, on his way to a career-high 33 carries and 140 yards on the ground for the day.
It's a lot of the offensive line letting me get to the second level half the time, letting me take on the littler guys, so it's a lot better there too.
Roberts is 6th in the nation in rushing and 2nd in carries with 150 through 6 games.
There's definitely a lot of bumps and bruises, but I think so far I've been pretty good. Going to the trainers, all the trainers have helped me out a ton.
The Falcons jumped out to a 14-0 lead before Wyoming tied things up just before halftime thanks to 2 quick big play drives. In the second half, Air Force took to the skies, attacking multiple times in an aerial assault on the arm of QB Hazik Daniels, who led the sorties. Daniels, who didn't attempt a pass in the first half, went 7 for 10 in the second half for 110 yards, which included a 13-yard strike to Micah Davis for a score.
Air Force!
To top things off, the Air Force D closed down the Cowboys, holding them to just 87 yards of offense in the second half and no points. Linebacker Vince Sanford came up with a huge 20-yard strip sack to stop a Wyoming drive in the 4th. Sanford is now tied for 6th in the nation with 6.5 sacks on the season.
In high school, I played wide receiver mostly, so I never envisioned myself as a pass rusher, but when they put me in a position, I just try to do my best and do what I can do.
He has good quickness. He just has so much savvy in the way that he plays. And the good part is he can get stronger too.
But the Falcons' schedule doesn't let up. Next up, a trip to Blue Turf and Mountain West perennial powerhouse Boise State. Even though the Broncos are just 3-3 this year, they're coming off a convincing beatdown of 10th-ranked BYU. After that, the Falcons are home against a top 25 matchup against San Diego State, and then in the first week of November, it's the Commanders Classic against Army in Arlington, Texas.